So we're back in apartment 4 and all the volunteers have gone home. But the amazing thing is they've really set me up to be able to continue while Ted is recovering from his operation. It's been a couple of weeks now. He's recovering really well. A couple of days ago he was a little bit worried because he's still in a lot of pain, and we was a bit worried that things weren't quite going the way they were, but he's had a bit of a turnaround over the last couple of days. He's out of bed, he's doing a few things, just very light duties. But because we've got this flooring now, it means that I can continue with doing the walls, the ceiling, and start prepping the rest of the room. We're going to concentrate this week and probably over the next couple of weeks on the bedroom area. That way we can pull in all of the furniture that's in the salon area, put it in place, and it's done, and it frees up space in the salon area. So today I'm going to work on the wall, doing the plasterboarding of the wall and the ceiling and trying to get that sorted and finished. I'm still not sure what I want to do with the walls yet, but I think if I can prep them all, have them all ready, then the vision will come to me and I can decide. So that's the job for today. Let's get on with it. Okay, I thought I'd just give you a bit of a tip on renovating in France on the Facebook page. There are always so many times that people ask questions as how do you get a seamless finish with the plasterboard, the edges. And I thought this room is a perfect room for showing you the different techniques, because it depends what the plasterboard is meeting, whether it's like this, meeting plasterboard, or in here we've got plasterboard meets wood, we've got plasterboard meets stone, and there's so many different ways of doing it. Now, I tend not to comment when people ask on the Facebook page, because there are so many different opinions as to how to do it. Everybody does it in their own way. There is no right or wrong way. I'm not an expert, but this is the way I do it. So when plasterboard's meeting plasterboard, the tape that you use for your tape and jointing has this indent in the middle of it, which gives you, when folded, a nice 90-degree angle for your corners and for your ceilings. So all you do is put a bit of paste up either side, your jointing compound, get your bit of tape. Now I never try to do the whole run in one go, because otherwise your tape, you can't get it in a really good straight line. Obviously people that do this day in day out will do it all in a straight line, but then your tape goes up, you push it against the ceiling, flatten it out, take your spatula, take the excess off, and in that way you've got a nice 90-degree angle and it's seamless. Then you just put your paste over the top like you would your tape and joint on the walls and sand it back, and you've got a really nice finish then. That's how you do plasterboard meets plasterboard. Okay, so when you're doing it against wood, you buy this mesh tape. It's adhesive on one side. When you've got large gaps like this, you put your adhesive mesh up onto your plasterboard, as close to the beam as you can get it. Make sure you put your tape on first. You've got your muck on your trowel, your spatula, I don't know what this is called, the technical term, but I call it a spatula, and just get a piece on the edge, like so. Up against the edge and push it in. So a little piece on the edge and push it in and pull your spatula outwards. Then take the excess off, and once again you'll have a really nice neat finish on the edges. You will need to come back and give this several coats, sand it back and several coats, because otherwise you get the mesh showing through. But because the jointing compound sticks to the mesh, it gives you that nice curved finish, as if you have scribed in the plasterboard immaculately.
Properly.
Not that Tib doesn't, but yeah, good way of having a really, really nice finish on it. Okay, so sorry if I've got white all over me, but it's finished. I've done 3 coats now and sanded back, and it's looking pretty good. I'm pleased with it. So the next job will be to miscoat it. Now, this has taken me 4 days to do this room, and I've had a look on some forums and checked this out, and plasterers tell me it will take about 3 days for them to do it, because you have to let it dry before you can sand it back, put the next coat on. So they'd have to have a 3-day contract, because although it wouldn't take them all day, they can't then put on another job for that day. So you'd have to pay them 3 days. Going rate here, average for an artisan, a good artisan, is €300 a day. So although it's taken me 4 days, I've just saved myself 900 quid, which I'm pretty pleased about. Anyway, it's time now. I'm going to take a little rest, going to go clean up, because we are off to see the 75th anniversary of the Tulip Rally. And it's in Mondon, just one of our local villages, which has a very big connection to this place. We'll tell you about it when we get there. Come with us. So we're here at Mondon, it's Lac de Mondon, where there's a beautiful lake, huge lake, restaurants and swimming pool.
And camping.
And camping.
Beautiful. Acres and acres and acres of parkland. Absolutely glorious. And we're here for the Tulip Rally, aren't we? The Tulip Car Rally, which is apparently in its 75th year. And it is from, I don't know where it's from until it's going to Paris, but I can't remember where they start. They start in Spain. Yeah. They do start in Spain. And it's a Dutch rally.
Proper international.
Yeah, so it's a Dutch rally. They start in Spain and finish in France. But it's all cars 1974 and prior to 1974. So anything, older than that, which is brilliant, because you get lots of brilliant cars, which we'll have a look at. But at the moment, it's just us.
So I don't know if you remember, back at the Chateau, we've got the big plaque outside, the iron plaque, which is a fire guard. And on it says the Forge de Mondon. So here, years ago, there used to be a huge forge. The plaque actually dates back to 1816, and we know that because on their website, they've got the different designs, and it was made for a visit that the king was coming to the Chateau. So it was made to the Chateau for the king. A couple of years after that, the forge was actually destroyed completely by a huge flood.
50 years, 1860, 64.
And nothing else was made. And there is absolutely nothing here that is left of the forge whatsoever. So the plaque that we've got is actually extremely important, because it's dated, it's got the Mondon, the Forge de Mondon sign on it, and it is one of the very rare things that is ever left of the forge, which is really sad, really, isn't it? That there's nothing left here to show of it anymore.
You know, when you think about what they do in England, there'd be a great visitor centre and there'd be this, that and the other. But I think it was all washed away in this great flood, as they said. And they didn't renew it or build it up again, because there was such, as some French lady once told me, that it was all because of you English and your cheap iron. And that's why they never built the thing up again, because they could get cheap iron in England. And now it goes to China. Now you get cheap iron out of China.
So, but yeah,
things come around, go around.
Gorgeous place.
It is absolutely beautiful. Great big. Yeah,
and if you go down and have a look, the force of that water coming through down there is just fantastic. was a good bit of fun. Nice to get out with some friends and the sun was actually shining. But it's time now to crack on with some work and finish this ceiling and walls. Let's crack on. So that's the first mist coat all done. Now I've got to go back round again. I won't bore you with that one though. Here. It's done. Just like that. So the mist coating's all done. It's all finished. And my ceiling has had a complete coat now. It's had 2 coats, top coats. So that's finished. Amazing. But that is not the best part of it. I hate painting, but I love this bit. Come and take a look. Okay, so remember that I was doing infill in the gaps to have a seamless line. This is where we reveal it. I love it. So we've got a tape here. All we do is take a very sharp sanding knife and gently run it across your line where your ceiling meets the beam. And then pop your knife underneath just to release your tape. And very gently ease your tape off to reveal your beautiful line with no gaps at all against the beam. And then you get your perfect straight line with no gaps whatsoever. I love it. I absolutely love it when it does this. I'm a bit anal with my gaps and make sure you've got no gaps. But I do think just that little bit of attention to detail makes all the difference when it comes to doing the job. Beautiful. So I'm going to get the rest of the tape off, show you the befores and afters, and then next week it will be down to finishing the woodworm treatment on the beams and getting them stained up. So the ceiling is completely finished. Can't wait for that. So another week's over, and as you can see, I'm back on my own again. The Tulip Rally was amazing, but a little bit too much for Ted because he's had a bit of a setback and has to go back into hospital tomorrow. But fingers crossed, a week or two, he will be back with us. I really hope so, because I really miss working with him. But for now, let's say thank you. An amazing thanks goes to those of you that did super thanks this week. And it is Jane Harris and Maria Richmond. Thank you ever so much. It's really appreciated. Those of you that did buy us a coffee, Jane Scott And they're lovely, Graham and Fiona, thank you so much. And Monique Jones, welcome to the Montmagny family as a patron, new patron this week. Thank you so much. If you'd like to buy us a coffee and say thank you, the link is in the description, or you can do the super thanks on YouTube. And for those of you that might like to see the behind the scenes, the extra uncut footage and Zoom chats with me and Ted, who could want more? Then the Patreon page link is in the description. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye. Goodbye for now.